Senator Lindsey Graham on January 6, 2021. He joins us this morning from Jerusalem. Senator Graham, thank you for joining us this morning. We'll get to the events of January 6 later, but I do want to begin with what the White House says is an imminent invasion of Ukraine by President Putin. Are you convinced that Putin's going to go in?
No, I'm not, but I'm convinced that we could do more in Congress and should. We've been working in a bipartisan fashion for about 3 weeks now to come up with pre-invasion, post-invasion sanctions, and the White House keeps pushing back. So the best thing that could happen is for us to pass a sanctions package, pre-invasion with a waiver, post-invasion sanctions that would destroy the ruble and cripple the Russian economy so Putin could see it in writing. That might help him decide not to invade, but we should be doing more in Congress.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't been. As you said, the negotiations have been stalled in the Senate. You're saying the president is pushing back, but you also have some pushback from your Republican colleagues in the Senate.
Yeah, but not in any real meaningful way. There's 70 votes in the body for invasion sanctions, pre-invasion sanctions with a waiver, post-invasion sanctions. The problem has been secondary sanctions. It's not just enough to sanction a Russian bank. You want to sanction anybody that does business with that bank, and we're really got to be hard on Nord Stream 2. We got to convince the Russians that the Congress will destroy Nord Stream 2 as a cash cow for Putin, and we need to have a robust set of sanctions regarding the SWIFT program so that Putin would understand that the relationship with the United States would be forever changed. And finally, I want to make that point. This is not the last president America will have. If Russia invades the Ukraine, you will destroy the U.S.-Russian relationship for decades, and every president in the near term will be put in a box when it comes to dealing with Russia. So I hope Putin understands that.
What do you make of this overall strategy we're seeing from the administration, releasing this intelligence about possible invasions, saying imminent invasion, saying maybe there'll be a false flag operation? Do you think that maybe has been effective in pushing Putin back?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't want to ring an alarm bell as much as take action. They're telling us the invasion is imminent, but they're not telling Putin with clarity what happens if you invade. He should be punished now. What I can't get over is that the world is allowing him to do all this without consequence. The guy took the Crimea in 2014. He's got 100,000 troops amassed on the Ukrainian border, and he's paying no price at all. So I'd like to hit him now for the provocation and have sanctions spelled out very clearly what happens to the ruble and his oil and gas economy. I think that's what's missing. We're talking way too much and we're doing too little.
Well, let's see what happens this week, Senator. Meantime, I do want to ask you, it's been several years since you've been on the program. So this is our first chance since the January 6th riots to ask about your relationship with President Trump and his leadership of the Republican Party. You know, we showed your comments from January 6th at the top. The next day you talked about the president's accountability for allowing the riot to happen. But you've also said the Republican Party can't win without him, and the 2024 nomination is his for the taking. So where do things stand with you and President Trump right now? Do you support his comeback in 2024?
So number one is his nomination for the taking in 2024 if he wants. If he wants to be the Republican nominee for the Republican Party, it's his for the taking. My floor comments were about the 2020 election. I am not contesting the 2020 election. I'd like to reform the system. The problems we found in 2020 need to be addressed, but the 2020 election is over for me. Donald Trump is the most consequential Republican in the Republican Party today. He has a great chance of being president again in 2024 if he'll start comparing what he did as president versus what's going on now and how to fix the mess we're in. If he looks backward, I think he's hurting his chances.
Yeah, you said that to Bob Woodward as well. You said the president was going to have to change if he wanted to be competitive in 2024. He doesn't really show any signs of changing. He continues to lie about the 2020 election. A couple weeks ago, he talked about pardoning the January 6 rioters. He called you a rhino, Republican in name only, because you disagreed with that. There's no evidence that the president is going to change.
Well, here's my statement about the president's situation right now. He's the most dominant figure in the Republican Party. I think Biden's approval ratings are in the tank because his policies are not working. For the president to win in 2024, he's got to talk about the future. He's got to talk about how to fix a broken border, how to repair the damage done through the Biden economic agenda, and how to make the world a safer place. I do believe if he talked about what he's capable of doing and remind people what he did in the past, he has a chance to come back. If he continues to talk about the 2020 election, I think it hurts his cause and, quite frankly, hurts the Republican Party.
He's planning to come to South Carolina and campaign for primary opponents of two of your members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, Nancy Mace and Tom Rice. Is that helpful?
Well, again, it's up to him who he wants to campaign for. I'm not worried about us taking back the House. We're going to take back the House unless we really screw this thing up. What I'm looking for is an American first agenda, like we had a contract with America. You remember 1994. What are we for as a Republican Party? How do we fix the problems created by the Biden administration? That's what I think is missing. We need a positive agenda to talk about how we can fix the future for America, repair the damage, rather than trying to purge the party. I think the best thing for the Republican Party is to talk about policy.
If you do take the Senate back, will you vote for Mitch McConnell as Senate Republican leader? In the past, you've said that he's got to fix his relationship with President Trump if he's going to earn your vote.
Yeah, I think any Republican leader in the House or the Senate has to have a working relationship with President Trump, because most Republicans like President Trump's policies. A lot of us wish he would look forward, not backward, but he's very popular because he stands up to all the things that most Republicans believe need to be stood up to. And so Mitch McConnell, if he runs, or anyone else, I think would have to show a working relationship with the president. Here's the good news for the Republican Party. We're back in the game, folks, after January the 6th. But it's mainly due to Democratic failures. We're going to have to prove to people we can do more than just talk about the past. We've got to prove to the people we can push forward a very positive future. And I'm in Jerusalem for the Iranian nuclear discussions are very concerning to the Israelis, and the world needs to tell Iran before it's too late what are the red lines regarding their nuclear program. And if we don't give the Iranians red lines, we could have a war on our hands pretty quickly between Israel and Iran.
I want to ask you about one final issue at home. The Supreme Court, President Biden has a vacancy he's trying to fill. Is Judge Michelle Childs of South Carolina the only Biden nominee you could support?
I think she's the one that would get the most Republican votes. I would be very inclined to support her because of her background. She didn't go to Harvard and Yale, which I think is a plus. She went to the University of South Carolina. But we'll wait and see what President Biden does. But I've told him and his team that if you nominate Michelle Childs, she'll be in the liberal camp for sure. But she has a hell of a story, and she would be somebody, I think, that could bring the Senate together and probably get more than 60 votes. Anyone else would be problematic.
Senator Graham, thanks for your time this morning. Safe travels.